Good morning. Thanks for joining me at Coffee with KORY. Remember recently we talked about you don't always have to announce your plans. Quit telling people what you're gonna do. Just go do it and then celebrate the success afterwards. We talked about that and now we did it this week. If you follow our social media at all, you know that we started really promoting and talking about the Home Start Credit Program. That program's been in place for probably 5 months, 4 or 5 months. But now we've started seeing some success with it with our tenants that have been banking money as they've been paying rent to the Experience Rentals. They've been essentially setting money aside for when they purchase a home through the Experience Real Estate. And those clients are coming full circle now. And so we wanted to make sure that we got it out on social media so that we can help even more tenants and more people whose end goal is to purchase a home. We really have started to see some success with it. And a big shout out to everybody at the Experience that's made that a reality. We look forward to helping even more clients in the months to come. So good job, team. There's a couple things that I want to talk about this week. They've been weighing on me. I've wanted to talk about them. Well, hopefully by the time we wrap today, it'll make sense as to why this was the week to talk about this. There's the first item came to mind a couple months ago. There's a TV show that Jossie and I watch. It's called Shrinking. And I'm not going to go into the backstory of the entire show. I highly recommend it. It's just a good show. But there was an episode that we saw a couple months ago where one of the characters is having a very heated, pointed conversation with one of the other characters. So the character that's dishing it out lost her best friend in a car accident that was caused by a drunken driving incident by the other person that she's confronting. And this conversation didn't have anything to do with the act, with the loss of her friend in that accident. It had everything to do with how he had handled his life since that had transpired, since that accident when she lost her friend. Because basically what he did after that accident occurred is the guilt of that event crushed him. He had a career, he had a fiance, and he let all of it go. He broke up with his fiance and said, "You gotta go find somebody else." He let go of a professional career and was working in a coffee shop and just closed his life down. And the point that the best friend made as she was confronting him was, look, my friend no longer has the opportunity to live a full life. You still have that opportunity to do it. And you should not be dishonoring my best friend by closing down your life due to this guilt that you're carrying. The best way that you can atone for this horrible mistake that you made is by going out and living a full life, spreading joy to others, accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish so that you're fulfilled as well. That is the only way to start in some way atoning for this horrible mistake that you made. You've got to let go of that guilt and get out there. And I thought that was really moving, honestly, because although I'm not going to deal with specific events where I've seen that happen, I have seen that happen. And I think if we all look inward, there are certain things that you carry from a guilt aspect that prevent you from doing things that you would normally attempt to do. And I think it's important to keep that lesson in mind, that carrying guilt doesn't accomplish anything. Letting go of guilt and being able to, spread joy is really what is going to give you the most peace, because the guilt is not. The other big G word as it is grief. And I saw a social media post a few months ago. It was actually shortly after I saw that episode of Shrinking that I just talked about. I saw a social media post of an acquaintance of mine who lost his son 4 years ago in an accident, and how he has dealt with that grief. And in that social media post that he made, he was actually talking about attending some recent funerals of other friends that had passed away at, again, relatively young ages, and how he was talking with their family members about how they too could best cope with their grief. And what he said was very enlightening. He said, what has worked the best for him is to take those best parts of his son, the things that he enjoyed the most, the things that really were fulfilling to him, and then make those his legacy. Try to spread those items of joy for your lost loved one, and then help make that their legacy and make it your legacy as well, and really help those things live on for them. And I think those are also valuable lessons, that because grief can be pretty crushing. This week for me has been tough. the last 8 years, because as we have coffee here together on Saturday, April 4th, it's one day after April 3rd, which is when is the day that my buddy Magic passed away 8 years ago. What I want to relay to you all, though, is I'm doing this recording early in the week, and so what I'm going to talk to you about hasn't actually happened yet, but I know it will, and I know it will be joyous because Magic's and Rhonda's daughter Grace and her husband Brandon closed on their first home on Friday, April 3rd. And I felt like it was worth talking about that, because that was not the planned day to close on their house. When Grace and Brandon wrote the offer to purchase this home, they're hoping to close on it a little bit later. But they, when the seller came back, that we were negotiating this deal out, and the seller agreed to their price, and which they were elated about, but they wanted to move the closing date up to April 3rd. It would have been easy for Grace to say, I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't feel comfortable with doing this on April 3rd. Instead, she chose joy and moving forward, and providing me, as well as her and her entire family, an event of joy on April 3rd. And could not be more happy for you, sweetheart. It was, I'm sure that we got a picture, and hopefully we can post it here in the comments of the most joyous event to happen on April 3rd in quite some time. So, congratulations to Grace and Brandon. I'm thrilled for you guys, and I hope if there's anybody out there carrying grief around, and you feel like it's heavy, it is. But just know that the joyous moments in life are the best ways to help lift that up, and keep the happy memories of your loved ones alive within you. So thanks for sharing that with you guys, or with me, you guys. It was I knew this was going to be a little bit of a tough episode to have with you guys, but I appreciate you hanging with me, as you always do. So we'll see you next week at Coffee with Kory.